So, you want to replant trees in an area that used to have them. You heard that if we simply just plant more trees that everything will be fine. You hear that if we just plant more trees that biodiversity will go back to normal, all the animals of the forest will be happy? Or perhaps you heard that trees store carbon dioxide because of photosynthesis, so it's obvious that we need to plant more trees to help fight climate change. Unfortunately for us, it's just not that simple. The planting of trees and their management is much more complicated than this, and we have many factors to consider when planting trees. Firstly, we must consider the kinds of trees that we're planting in an area. Trees, like animals, are adapted for different climates, and so if you plant a tree in the wrong environment, it will not thrive and likely die. This is something that the West Norfolk Council had to learn the hard way, as when they went to reforest an area, they planted the wrong kind of tree, resulting in a whopping 90% of saplings dying within 4 months. On the flip side of this, you must also ensure that a tree isn't too well suited for an environment. But what does this mean? If a tree is too well suited for an environment, this means that it's going to thrive in an environment and could not be stopped. But this sounds like a good thing. Well, no. If a tree in an area cannot be stopped, it will outcompete any and all other plants in the area for resources, space and sunlight, resulting in all the other plants in the area dying out. This is what happened when many European governments introduced the tree of heaven, a native of China, and it absolutely thrives in temperate climates. It was introduced in the 1790s and was loved for its almost artistic looking leaves. However, this tree of heaven soon got a new name, the tree from hell. The species would suck all available nutrients from the soil, killing entire collections in European gardens. Once it dominated the gardens, it broke out into the wilderness and is now commonplace in Europe and North America today, where it continues to spread and dominate ecosystems. So, you have managed to find the perfect tree to reforest an area? A species that is well adjusted to the climate, but one that won't completely take over? I'm afraid that is simply not enough kinds of trees. Having a singular kind of tree in an area to be replanted is known as a monoculture. Monoculture is a common practice in the farming and timber industries, but for rewilding efforts like we are discussing, it just won't do. This is because if a singular kind of tree is planted, that entire population is at risk of disease, as if one tree becomes infected, it will likely infect and kill all the rest. Monocultures also create what is known as an ecological dead zone or a green desert. These terms describe an area where the singular kind of tree is thriving, but nothing else is. This is because having a singular kind of tree does nothing to provide competition in an environment, meaning all the kinds of trees and plants cannot grow. This also means animals tend to stay away from these monocultures, as there is usually little to eat if they do not eat the specific kind of tree, and there's a lack of areas to hide on the ground, meaning it's simply just a bad place to be if you're an animal.
So, you have managed to identify multiple species that are well adapted for an environment and won't die and won't completely dominate an area? Fantastic! Now, you have got a plan to manage these trees, right? Right? God damn it, management is the most important part. Firstly, you must consider how you plant these trees. If trees are planted too close together, they will not be able to absorb enough nutrients from the soil and will compete too much for water, resulting in very few or sometimes all the saplings dying before they begin to grow. This is what happened to the Team Trees project, started by viral YouTube star Mr. Beast. The Team Trees project would see Mr. Beast's sizable audience donate $1 for a single tree planted, with the aim of raising $20 million. They did hit this target, but many of the planting areas are now full of underdeveloped or dead saplings due to the mismanagement of the project. We also must have plans to protect these trees when they are still small, especially here in the UK. When you go for a walk, you may see saplings with tubes surrounding them. No, this isn't some kind of fashion craze, but a preventative measure to stop trees being eaten by animals, especially deer. If these tubes are not installed, a single herd of deer could completely wipe out a replanting effort.
So, as we have learned, just planting more trees is not as simple as it sounds. The proper planning and management of the trees that we plant in an area can make or break the success and the overall success of the environment that we hope to protect when reforesting the area.